One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to what is today? Tuesday evening show. Now, before we begin, I just want to set some ground rules. I don't want anybody to get banned or have people mad. So I'm just going to tell you now, right now. President Trump, the event he's going to be celebrating tonight is Hanukkah for the Jewish people. So if you're somebody who just can't stand Jewish people, if it just gets you to the point where you're too angry, go ahead and log off now. Don't become a problem for everybody else. I beg of you, spare us the crap that you might want to talk about Israel. So just so you know, I get emails all the time from people and they say, I didn't do nothing. I'm telling you in advance. The mods are going to be very aggressive tonight. If you have your anti-Semitic things to say, you're going to get booted. Nothing I can do about it, because I don't want this to interfere with other people enjoying or even listening to what President Trump has to say. So that being said, enjoy yourself tonight when President Trump comes on, and hopefully we can have a good time, and I think it's going to be a very busy week. Tomorrow at 9 p.m., President Trump has announced that he's going to do his My Fellow American speech. Not sure what it's going to be. Not sure. We shall see. And then on Friday at 6 p.m., President Trump is doing a rally in North Carolina. So we got a lot of big things to look forward to, and we shouldn't let our personal animus about a subject like Israel freak people out. So I'm just saying, I just wanted to get those ground rules right off the bat. Let's keep that stuff to yourself. All right, that being said, there's a high volume of stuff that's happening. And it can be no accident what's going on online. This is where you really have to sit back and understand, is what I'm seeing really indicative of what's happening, or is there a narrative being built because they know what's coming? I take the latter. I think people know who are adversarial to Trump and to the Trump administration. They know what's coming. And because they know it's coming, they're doing everything they can to take your eyes off the prize. These next couple of days are going to be extremely important. With this speech tomorrow, this event tonight, whatever news comes up in the next couple of days, and then the rally. And they don't want you to know or pay attention to what's really important. This is definitely the next couple of days when you shouldn't even be looking at anything about Candace Owens. Just ignore all that Charlie Kirk stuff. Just push it off to the side right now. This is not some time where we need to have people, but nothing's happening. And no, there's no arrest. Put that stuff to the side right now, especially with what I'm going to show you right now. And then you guys may have been in the chat earlier. You may have been having dinner. But President Trump absolutely dropped an atom bomb of a post on Truth Social. Let's take a look at this. Because OMG, this is what's coming. Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It will only get bigger, and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before. Until such time as they return to the United States of America, all of the oil, all of the land, and other assets that they previously stole from us. I'm going to stop right there. I don't even know what's going on here. In order for us to stop from blowing you to oblivion, you're going to have to give us back all of the oil, all of the land, and other assets that you previously have stolen from America. What? Somebody going to explain this? Whew. The illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from the stolen oil fields to finance themselves, drug terrorism, trafficking, murder, kidnapping, for the theft of our assets. What assets? And many other reasons, including terrorism, drug smuggling, trafficking. The Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. All right, so we just declared Venezuela an enemy. Go back to yesterday, and we declared fentanyl to be a weapon of mass destruction, and then today we've just declared Venezuela. The entire country, we essentially just declared pseudo-war on Venezuela. You are now declared a foreign terrorist organization. Get some of that. He continues. Therefore, today I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil takers going into and out of Venezuela. The illegal newcomers and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent into the United States during a weak and inept Biden administration are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation. And likewise, we will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or any other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So what President Trump has just declared is that we've surrounded the whole country. You're done. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out. Give us back that which you have stolen from America. Could this be, or are they going to say that the depletion of the strategic oil reserve was depleted to give to Venezuela? Because I don't know how you can claim another country's natural resources as ours, except if somehow there was some transfer from some place, our oil to theirs. Is there something going on behind the scenes where President Trump at this point has determined you have stolen our stuff and we want it back now? In addition to that, I'm looking at this and going, including our land. I don't know what that is. There is something big going on right now. This is a atomic bomb of a post, and this came out at 6:46 p.m. President Trump is due to come out in like the next 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm like, excuse me, before you light the menorah, what the hell just happened? What is going on? Is this why the Democrats are freaking out? Is this the reason why we've seen so much insanity from Mark Kelly and Elise Slotkin and some of these people? Who did they know this was where it was going? Well, it seems like it. It seems like it at this point that President Trump has told not just Venezuela, but the Democrats, game on. We're going for this. We're going to do it. We're going to take what's ours. We've already surrounded the country. Scream, cry all you want. We don't care. It's on. Which means he's also told China and he's told Russia, back off. This is ours. This is going to cause markets to go crazy. It is going to cause Democrats to go crazy. Right now, I bet you on every single one of the liberal talk shows, heads are exploding. My head's exploding. And I'm a conservative. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did he just do? Oh, well, I think we now know what's going on. I think we now know why all this stuff happened today about Susie Wiles. I think you now know what is happening on X and some of these networks. They're trying their best to break the coalition, the movement. You can't let it happen. Pretty much, I think what we've seen is a giant head fake. I think the entire Susie Wiles thing was to get them to look over here and run after this story. And now tonight at 6:46 p.m., after a day of them chasing the Susie Wiles story, boom. Let me tell you about this Susie Wiles story. I started to get into it early, but it began taking on a life of its own this evening or at late afternoon. And so I want to show you this because this is very interesting.
In addition to Susie Wiles saying that he is a conspiracist in this article, she also said that Vance, because he was very vocally against Donald Trump in the first go-round, that he kind of came around to Trump for political reasons. But she also said, if Vance runs for president, he will be the nominee and I will be one of the first people to support him.
I mean, this is just an astonishing story, and this isn't just an interview where she said a few things here and there. This is a full Washington burn book that she's done, and she's covered all of her bases. But what is fascinating about it is that she is much closer to the storm than most people in Washington. But a lot of the things she's saying are being said by Republicans with ties to Capitol Hill. These are the things they're saying privately, and she's saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, I mean, in a big way. Okay, let's talk about a couple of other. There's so much in here. So there's part one and part two. So there's a lot to go through. Let's just do a little policy on Maduro.
So before she gets into that, because now she's about to talk about Maduro, in order for this to be the big meaty story that the Democrats want, that the liberals want, here's what you have to assume. You have to assume that Susie Wiles doesn't know better, just walked head on into the deep end of the river, decided she was going to lay prone and let the liberal media have this juicy story. She's that stupid. Well, President Trump has told us she's not. President Trump has told us she's the most powerful woman in Washington. President Trump has told us she's the glue. And all of a sudden the story comes out that basically she was bamboozled by a news reporter, that she was knocked off her game and gave up all these goodies. You believe in that? I mean, seriously, are you believing that somebody in the Trump administration, as high up as she is, decided to have these interviews with these people over a period of time, and she didn't know they would use anything against her. I'm sorry, CNN. I'm sorry, influencers. You have to be extremely gullible to believe she just walked into this interview and said all this stuff, not knowing, hey, is it off the record? Yeah, it's off the record. Well, here, let me tell you some stuff. And all of a sudden now it's everything that they want to talk about.
And what's going on with the drug boats and in Venezuela in particular. She did say that this is a war against drugs, but then she also said, quote, he, meaning the president, wants to keep on blowing boats up until Maduro cries uncle, and people way smarter than me on that say he will, AKA regime change.
Right, and certainly that has been the focus of speculation around what the White House is doing here.
So you understand these four people on this panel have no clue what's going on. They don't have any more information than you do. The only information that they have in front of them is some article that is quoting Susie Wiles. That's it. And they're acting like they know more than you. They don't. Well, it seems like, or I think this, or, this could be, but none of which what you just said means anything.
But it's not what the White House is saying, and it would have, foreign policy implications for them to say that out loud. So again, this is another example of her sort of saying the quiet part out loud, sort of confirming what was the widespread speculation about the White House's moves. And it's quite shocking to read.
It's shocking. Oh, shocking. And it confirms what we all believe. I think they have a term for that, and that term is called confirmation bias. It confirmed, she said it, it confirmed what we all believed. Oh, so Susie Wiles gave you something that all of you had believed, and now it's front page news. Yeah, okay. You buying this? Nope, I'm not. Maybe because I'm too much of a Trump supporter, or maybe just the fact that I have a brain.
Well, folks, I think initially saw it and then wanted to know more. And of course, what the White House is saying is that it's been significantly taken out of context. All I can tell you about Susie is this: revered, respected, has the total confidence and trust of the president. He's come out this afternoon and backed her on everything. And so, look, I mean, ultimately, there's only one person's opinion that matters. President of the United States. He loved Susie yesterday. He loves her today. And the world keeps spinning. So I think, look, for most people, this would be a little bit of palace intrigue, but I don't detect any wobbling in the leadership of and her position at the White House.
But they have to have that. That's what energizes them. We got something on Trump. We got him this time. The walls are closing in. The walls that he allows you to look at are closing in. Understanding what he posted on Truth Social didn't take place in a half an hour. What he posted on Truth Social has been obviously in the works for quite some time, while Susie Wiles has been raked over the coals today. And you didn't hear anything about it. You didn't hear anything about these boats surrounding Venezuela. You didn't hear about an armada. There were no pictures. There were no drones. All of this took place while they were chasing their tails. And they're expecting you to believe that Susie was just out here talking and flapping her lips and saying bad things about Trump. Seriously? I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Listen, President Trump is going to be giving a joint address an address to the nation, not a joint address, an address to the nation tomorrow night, live from the White House here, 9 o'clock Eastern. I know you guys will all be tuning in. It's going to be a really good speech. I was just in the Oval Office with the president discussing it. He's going to talk a lot about the accomplishments over the past 11 months, all that he's done to bring our country back to greatness, and all he continues to plan to do to continue delivering for the American people over the next 3 years. As for the Vanity Fair article, Michael, I'll take your question directly. This is, unfortunately, another example of disingenuous reporting, where you have a reporter who took the chief of staff's words wildly out of context, did not include the context those conversations were had within. And then further, I think the most egregious part of this article was the bias of omission that was clearly present. And we see a lot of this when dealing with the media every day. You will leave out important context, leave out comments and facts. You know, many people in this building spoke with that reporter, and those comments were never included in the story, probably because it didn't push this false narrative of chaos and confusion that the reporter was clearly trying to push. So what I'll say about our chief of staff, as you've seen from not just myself, but also the entire cabinet, and a groundswell of support from people on Capitol Hill who don't even work in this building, about how incredible Susie Wiles has been to President Trump. And he's been able to accomplish so much because of his leadership and his tenacity, but also because of Chief of Staff Wiles's leadership and her ability to effectuate his agenda. So thank you.
What did I just do? Oh, she, it was so cool because she kind of just like snapped her fingers and walked away. That's it. That's all I got to say to you. So with what you have to step back now, because you have the advantage of being able to pull back and see as much of this picture as you can. You've heard all day long about the whole Susie Wiles thing. And then you see this thing about Venezuela. But I think all of this goes together with something else President Trump said, which causes these people to react the crazy way they do. So I'm going to take you back, was it yesterday or the day before, to something that President Trump said, which has to have these people freaking out, and I think it has something to do with Venezuela. When you hear this, light bulbs should be going off in your head. Listen to this. You may have heard it.
That's all they're good at cheating in elections, very good at cheating. They're professionals at cheating because we won in 2016 by a lot. The election was rigged in 2020. We have all the ammunition, all the stuff, and you'll see it come out. It's coming out in truckloads. And
it's coming out in truckloads. The President of the United States just said he's going to expose all of this stuff that they did in 2020. And I bet you not many people in the media talked about that. In fact, as I watched the media today, it was Rob Reiner 24/7. It was Australia the other bit of time. And it was a little bit of the Brown University. That was about it. That was about all the news until they started talking about Susie Wiles. But they didn't talk about the truckloads of stuff.
California's election, New York also, but California more than any other place is so rigged. It's such a rigged election. You know, we won the Hispanic vote. So a lot of people say Republican wouldn't win California, but I won the Hispanic vote. I won in Miami. Think of that. In Miami, I won the Hispanic vote. Along the Texas border, I won every single city or town touching the Texas border, and they're 85 to 90% Hispanic. We won the Hispanic vote. If the vote in California was legitimate, which it's not, they have 38 million ballots. Everything is mail-in voting. They mail out 38 million ballots, and they come in. Where the hell do they go, and where do they come from? It's a rigged election in California because we would win California by a lot. And again, they feel they have the advantage with Hispanic. They don't.
So they have laughed all of this off for years. It has been just a complete joke, President Trump saying this stuff. But now, I don't know what truckload of information he has, but are they going to now begin to put this together and go, he's coming hard after Venezuela, very hard. A no holds barred kind of hard. This whole thing about Susie Wiles, what was behind it? I think I have an idea. I know some of you guys may follow this guy, and he wrote something today that was very interesting to me. It says, LOL, Susie Wiles sat down for an interview with a hostile reporter from Vanity Fair, and look what happened. I'm going to stop there. If Brian knows she's a hostile reporter, then you have to realize that Susie Wiles knows she's a hostile reporter. She's not sneaking in. Hey, this woman wants to talk to you. Who's she with? Oh, she's with Vanity Fair. Oh, what has she written before? Well, she has been pretty bad towards Trump. You don't think she knew going in who this woman was? She was just that stupid, naive? Come on. This is going to literally drive the narrative evil Susie Wiles over a cliff. Thus far, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi, Don Jr., Caroline, Dan Bongino, Steve Miller, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel have all posted something to her defense, as well as Ed Martin and a few other people. It's growing by the minute. And of course, the befuddled, benighted, clueless, and kept in the dark great man himself, America's big America, first United States, first president over 100 years, he also came out. So everybody basically in the cabinet came out and went, nope, not true, not true. But of course, the media doesn't care because Vanity Fair holds more credibility than anybody in the cabinet. So let's continue with this. Says you're watching the camps forum and you're going to be told you have to pick a camp and join it. I believe this 100%. This is where you are right now. You are going to be bombarded on social media. Oh, I voted for him 3 times. I can't take anymore. You know, because he said something about Rob Reiner, who all of a sudden everyone's finding out. Got to wait 24, 48 hours. It wasn't that kind of a guy, if you know what I mean. So the first camp, and you're seeing it play out right now. The first camp, social media influencers, celebrity personalities, all screaming the evil Susie must go, and take about half of Trump's cabinet with her, start over, set everything back a couple of months, maybe even a year. Yes, that will be one camp, and it has formed. The second camp, Trump, Pete, Tulsi, Steve, Dan, etc., all actually know their shit, and you're listening to the left side and the right side of F News coverage in all our desperate attempt to stop what is happening. And tonight, already thus far, you can see it's actually happening. You saw last night. It is actually happening. I bet you there are people right now trying to identify, what do you mean, give it back to us? See, now that there's going to have to be a whole group of people who have to start studying, maybe even you. What is Maduro going to give back to us? And then the third group of people, the third camp, is where probably you should come in right now, since you don't know anything more than people in the media. Turn out the noise, focus on the mission, remember your oath, remember why we're here, because things are about to get squirrely. If President Trump is going to have no problem whatsoever telling Maduro, I'm coming for you, things are about to get crazy. And I would not want to be him right now reading that. In fact, I'm pretty sure he didn't have to read it. I'm pretty sure that he had people hitting up his phone. Hey, man, there's a whole bunch of boats out in the water, and they're all surrounding everywhere we look. He didn't need the post. The post was for you and me and whoever in the Democrat Party. The people who knew already knew it was happening. By the way, with all this stupid Susie Wiles is no good, was there anything, I don't know, posted about the Armada? Or did that just surprise everybody? Because it seems like if Susie Wiles is so terrible, so incompetent, funny, you didn't know about this, did you? He just posted it. And you guys are running around at probably now trying to figure out, it's dark, you can't see, what the hell is going on? I can't wait to, once we log off to see what exactly is going to be happening, because it's probably quite crazy. And so that's where we are right now before this celebration. I can see on Laura Ingraham, they're actually talking about Susie Wiles. Let's listen in.
Republicans and former Republicans who have gotten positive treatment from Vanity Fair, but not the Trump White House.
Well, we want Susie to come on the angle. We haven't had her on yet, but I'd be a lot fairer than the Vanity Fair with Susie Wiles, I think, Byron, right? I mean, come on the angle, and you can blast Vanity Fair. It's much more fun.
Well, just say if you had time for 11 interviews with Vanity Fair, some of them lasting a full hour, certainly you can come spend a little time on the Ingram angle.
No, it'd be fun. We'll have fun, too. And I actually like her, unlike Vanity Fair. They obviously don't like her. Byron, thank you very much. Great to see you, as always. That is it for us tonight. Make sure to follow me on social media, Instagram, and the like. Holiday season. I hope you're out there having.
Nobody knows what's going on. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke at this point. So enjoy the show. I think that's the best we can say is enjoy the show. I'm looking at the feed. Nothing has come up yet. We are 8 o'clock. He was supposed to come out a little while ago. But in any event, this is where we are with everything. Who are you going to believe? Who are you going to believe at this point? I'm going to have to just stay with Trump. That's who brought me to this dance. Why would I look otherwise? Why would you look in any other places? It's absolutely nuts. All right, I will be right back in 90 seconds.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, everybody, waiting for President Trump to turn on his feed. Hasn't done it yet. Take some comments here. It says, good evening, Patriots. Good evening to you as well, Vincent. Remember she released a statement saying they pretty much stabbed her in the back. Yeah, I believe God is guiding Trump in the true MAGA movement. If you would know it by looking at some of the people that we considered influencers and how many of them have turned their back on MAGA, which means they probably weren't MAGA to begin with. Unbelievable. Rhonda, I love your expletive here, but yeah, it is definitely about to go down. And it's funny because, I've got the different monitors with different things pulled up. And like I said, everything is Reiner. Everything is Australia, and everything is Brown University, and there's nothing talking about the current news that came out at 6:45. To me, I would be scrambling if I ran a newsroom. I'm standing strong with President Trump. He is my president. Exactly. The Democrats have no clue what's going on. They don't. Trump said Susie is the most powerful woman in the world, and that is exactly. Oh yeah, this is another story I'm going to talk to you about tonight. Bongino. It seems like they just go from person to person to person to try to attack all these different things. Now the story comes out. Dan Bongino is going to quit. He's going to leave the FBI. I don't know. But I don't know any more than they do because I doubt Dan Bongino is telling people on different networks I'm going to leave the FBI. I don't think so. It all right now is a crapshoot of epic proportions that these people are doing because they got nothing. And I don't say that haphazardly. I really mean that. They don't have anything. They don't know anything. And so they're all getting together in their little conclaves and trying to stir up crap. I just need you to stay strong. You guys just need to stay strong. So I want to talk a little bit today about, as we just talked about Susie Wiles. Let's talk about what other news of the day was, because many of you may not have been paying attention to it. And that's what's going on with the economy. So I got some pieces I want you to take a look at.
Yes, October and November for the big jobs report. The only thing is it's not Friday. Here we go. November's number comes in at 64,000. 64,000 on non-farm. And if we look at average hourly earnings, they are up 0.1% year over year, up 3.5%.
Fox Business Alert. The November jobs report was just released moments ago. The U.S. adding 64,000 jobs last month, which is better than the forecast of 50,000. The unemployment rate also jumped more than expected to 4.6%.
All right, so I want to talk to you about that because you may have heard J.D. Vance talk about the unemployment rate went up. There's a couple reasons why the unemployment rate went up. Because in the past, they didn't count you as being unemployed if you weren't looking for a job. And so there's more people looking for work, i.e. their benefits are being cut or whatever, which then now you're part of the unemployed. So you're now being charted. The other thing, which they hate, is it also includes a bunch of government people who lost their jobs, who were downsized. We don't need you anymore. So they've got to go back into the marketplace and find another job. And then when the different courts said that Trump can fire these people, now they become part of the people who've lost their jobs, who now have to look and try to get gainful employment, which means the unemployment numbers go up. But the biggest portion of those people who lost their jobs were government employees, which is exactly what we wanted. I want you to hear this, okay?
So we should think that 2025 was setting the table. 2026 is going to be a bountiful year if the Democrats don't shut down the government, because they were unable to stop President Trump. They tried to stop him in the courts. They tried to stop him in the media. Then they went to the extreme. We had the longest government shutdown in history. Was a hit to GDP, slowed things down. We're still going to finish the year probably 3.5% GDP growth, which is incredible.
Unbelievable.
With a shrinking budget deficit. So.
All right, so I've said before, sometimes these guys are so up here with numbers, it's hard for most people to understand. 3.5% GDP. Go back and look up GDP over the last 10, 15 years. What they're doing right now is absolutely incredible. Getting the gross domestic product, GDP, up. So you've got GDP going up, you got inflation going down, which means more money in your pocket.
We have very good momentum coming into next year. The economy is broadening out. You can see it. Other sectors of the stock market away from big tech are doing very well. But if they try to shut down the government, I believe that the Senate Republicans should immediately forego the filibuster, keep the government open, and let the economy do its thing. Because
all right, so now you've got Scott Bessent out here saying, nuke it. Nuke the filibuster, get rid of it. Understand he's in the inner circle in the finance stuff with Howard Lutnick and, of course, what's the guy's name, Jameson, and obviously President Trump. So he's not telling, I think it's Maria, whoever it is on Fox Business, he's not telling her anything they haven't already discussed. And you know President Trump has said it over and over. We got to nuke the filibuster. This afternoon, I showed you Mike Johnson doing a press conference. And he's like, right after the first of the year, you're going to see us doing some stuff. Because I think it's January 15th or so, that's when it's time to shut the government down again. So they all see what's coming. They can all see the horizon. What are you going to do about it this time?
So one big, beautiful bill. There are so many parts to that are kicking in. We've had 15% uptake in capital expenditure. Capital expenditure historically always leads to job growth. We had the president fulfilled his promises to working Americans, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, and auto deductibility for American-made cars.
Now, everything he just said, all those no tax on, no tax on, no tax on, all take place after January. So again, while all these people are online saying it sucks and we're not going to vote for Trump, and last 3 times I voted for him, but they're all talking out of their rear end because they don't know what's coming. None of them, not a single one of the naysayers out there, whether it be media or influencer, none of them knew he was about to surround Venezuela. None of them knew he was going to give Maduro that kind of demand. I remember when I talked to Mark Mitchell, and I said it specifically. I said, Mark, what difference does a poll today make when you don't know what's going to happen? You're comparing where things were before in an other presidential, tenure, comparing it to Trump, and you don't know what he's got planned for tomorrow. How do you do that? How do you possibly measure sentiment when you have no clue, none, what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next quarter? You have no idea. And so when you're posting or tweeting 50 or 75 times a day that Trump sucks, it's horrible, you won't believe it, he's lost the midterms, it's already over. Well, the people who are answering you, who I don't know, don't have any of the information that is going to be happening. They may have even heard that the big, beautiful bill is coming. They may have even heard there's going to be no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on this, on that, and everything else, but they don't have it yet. And so what do you think is going to happen, I don't know, say by March, and people have been making money every 2 weeks, and it's like, I have more money in my pocket. Are you going to talk to those same people that you talked to back in, October and November? Hey, you said Trump was doing bad and boomers were problem. How do you, no, you don't feel that way anymore? No. I feel much better. I'm making money. I'm making more money because of President Trump. How do you measure that in a poll when all you're doing is comparing it to other presidents who did nothing? And you don't have people like Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick out there telling you, rocket ship time.
There are going to be substantial refunds to working American households.
There's a big one. There's going to be substantial refunds to American households. Did you put that in your pipe and smoke it? No. So I'm bringing that up, and I'm not trying to besmirch Mark. I'm just trying to tell you, nobody knows what's going to happen from day to day. That's where this presidency is. It's why it's freaking everybody out. There's no way for them to plan, project where things are going to be. And so it's happening so fast where you basically, at this point, just have to tell people, chill. Just wait. Just give it some time and see what happens. Otherwise, you might look stupid posting all kinds of crazy stuff, and then, boom. I would just like to know how many people are going to feel different if their pocketbook feels different. Right now, the projection on gas is sub $2. That's going to make people feel different. It's going to make you feel different, probably. So everybody who's crying right now about the prices and everything else, they're not understanding what's about to happen. So they've just pulled up the feed, and I'm looking at it. Let me finish with Scott here real quick.
The first quarter, they will change their withholding. They will get an increase in real incomes. So I am very optimistic that for working Americans, for job growth, for capital formation, but we cannot let the Democrats shut down the government.
So he's not going to let it's not going to happen. So I saw Mark Wayne Mullen today, and he said, Senator from Oklahoma, he's for busting the filibuster. It's coming. It is definitely coming. They can't stop what is coming. And that's what they're all pissed off about. They know they can't stop what's coming. Here's another one for you. Who's this? Let's see this.
Yeah, I think it's best to sort of combine the two. And if you do that, then you're looking at private sector gains of about 120,000, maybe 121. And then we dropped about 160,000 government workers, federal government workers, who are the people who took the buyout that, we began that program in the spring and gave people to the fall to step aside. And so I think that from the private sector point of view, it's just about what we've been getting all year. It's solid upward trajectory. The president's private sector job creation since he took office about 700,000 jobs. And so I think that, like the vast majority of the Bloomberg people polled were surprised on the upside, and I think that we were surprised kind of not at all. We think it's about on trend is what's.
So the people doing the polling are surprised how people are reacting, but he's like, we're not surprised. We knew this was going to happen. This was the byproduct of everything we were putting together. We're watching these numbers and we're like, yep, this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what we're pushing for. This is it. And I don't know where you are on this Christmas season, but it's going to be different come January. And there's something that's really going to be different. I'm going to show you that in a little bit too.
The story that the Biden administration doesn't want to talk about, the mass unfettered immigration, they have pushed up rents. Especially for working Americans. There's a recent study out from Wharton School that shows every 1% increase in population, rents went up 1%.
Wow. All right, stop there. Every 1% increase in population caused a rent increase of 1%. So, ergo, if there was a 5% increase in population, meaning bringing all these newcomers in, then rent went up 5%. Ergo, if you get rid of 1%, it drops 1%. Nobody's asking about that. Nobody's even talking about that. That's absolutely massively huge.
So President Trump, by the enforcing the border, sending home more than 2 million illegals, we're now seeing D and C rents coming down substantially. I think that will continue for the rest of the year.
Okay, so rents are beginning to fall, meaning it's becoming cheaper to get someplace to live. While at the same time, January's coming and you're about to make more money because of all the different things from the big, beautiful bill. You see how this is all starting to gel? And every time you see Besant and Kevin, and they're all sitting there smiling, like, we know what's coming. Democrats don't talk about it. The media doesn't even talk about it. They don't want you to know anything.
The story that the Biden administration doesn't want to talk about.
Oops, sorry. I just played that one. Go to this one.
Yeah, although we might sort of have sort of a bit of a boost next year. I mean, one, we have hopefully some certainty around tariffs. We just never knew what they were going to be because there's so much flux. So hopefully that calms down. And also we have a lot of the sort of corporate tax credits finally coming along from big, beautiful bill. So we might see a bit of a sort of uptick in hiring hopefully next year as sort of all this sort of expansionary policy takes shape. And hopefully we have some more certainty around the tariffs.
All right. So now the talking heads on CNBC and Fox Business, they're starting to see it. These people make their living on projections. They don't make their living on what's happening today. They make their living based upon where things are going to be. You know, as I say often, the proverbial puck, where that puck is going to be. So they're making their projections and going, yeah, I think we're going to see this. I think we're going to see this movement that President Trump has been talking about. What's that mean? That means more prosperity to people here. No more woe is me type crap going on. Right now, let's see, they've got the feed has come up. Any music? I love that kind of music. It just cracks me up. What else about the economy can I talk to you about before they come up? Let's go here.
How do you explain this new stress that we're talking about that keeps showing up in all the polls, that people are stressed about housing, stressed about the cost of food? What is the administration's plan to rein in the cost of food and housing?
Well, Maria, people should be stressed because this Biden inflation, as I said, it was worst inflation in 50 years. And Strategas, the brokerage firm who you know well, had something. Jason Trenner had something called the Common Man Index, which was working Americans. So the accumulated CPI during the Biden years, called it 22%. For working Americans, it was 35, and that 35 was just a wipeout because it was.
Okay, got to stop him, Scott. They should have subtitles. See, most people who are following idiots on social media are not watching these business channels. And so one of the problems I think we have as a country is there's a huge disconnect when these guys get on TV and they start talking about, the alphabets, the CPI, Consumer Price Index. People aren't paying attention to this stuff. That's why I keep trying to tell you guys, maybe you might want to shift your eyeballs from here over to here and start looking at what do these numbers mean? What's the projection? Because in that regard, you're going to be able to project where you want to be January, February, March. The plans aren't secret. The big, beautiful bill kicks in on, I think, January 1st or 2nd, whatever. And you know what's going to happen. And so because you know what's going to be happening, you can begin making your projections in your household. Prices are going to go down. Revenue is going to go up. Inflation is going to go down. It's already a given.
Groceries, insurance, rent, and the auto. And we are bringing that down. So energy, which leads everything, is coming down. Energy goes into grocery prices. So I
had somebody email me, true story, and they said, Barry, how does energy go into food prices? And I said, well, do yourself a favor and drive to your local grocery store, I don't know, about 7 o'clock in the morning, but don't park out front, park out back. And when you park out back, just sit there for a couple hours, bring a sandwich with you, stop and get a Cinnabon or something, and you're going to watch truck after truck after truck coming to stock that store. Well, that truck that's bringing in all that stuff has been paying an exorbitant amount of cost to fill their gas tanks as they're going from store to store to store throughout your county and state. Ergo, everything moves by truck. If the gas is cheaper, and if there are more people who need to learn how to drive big rigs, because all of a sudden there's a shortage going to be of people driving big rigs, you've been following that, haven't you? Then at that point, the grocery prices are inevitably going to come down.
Affordability has two components. So just like with the deficit, with the deficit, there are two parts to it. There's constraining spending and then upping revenues, which is what we're doing, which is why we had this several $100 billion contraction. With affordability, I suspect that we are going to see a substantial drop in inflation in the first 6 months of next year. Rents are down. The story that the Biden administration doesn't want to talk about, the mass unfettered immigration, they have pushed up rents.
All right, so as he talked about the rents before, you can't look at one of these things by itself. One of these things by itself doesn't really make that much of an impact. But when you begin putting all these things together, all of them together, string them, and you're going to be thinking to yourself, or actually seeing to yourself, come January and February, you're making more money. Things are not as expensive. And so if all of the financial guys know this, Trump knows this, how can people possibly be thinking, oh, it's all over? It's done. Never going to win the midterms. And I'm like, are you paying attention? Are you paying attention to what is going on? And I don't mean paying attention to Fred, John, and Joe who are talking crap. I'm talking about what's actually happening in the country. I keep looking over because the feeds are going in and zooming and stuff of that nature. But if you're not paying attention, you don't know. So I can't tell you what to do, but I would advise you to stop looking at crap, because all it's meant to do is take your eye off the ball. And that's what President Trump keeps trying to tell people. Hey, listen, we're doing great. It's tremendous. Prices are down. Over here at Candace saying maroon shirts and her and Erica got together. I don't care. I care that, Charlie was assassinated. I care about that. But I don't care about this stuff going back and forth. I don't care if Dan Bongino is going to resign. I don't care. That's not what that woman down the hall wants to know. That woman down the hall wants to know, hey, what are we doing? What's going to happen next? I need to make sure. I'm like, okay, because Dan Bongino quitting doesn't affect my life whatsoever. Doesn't affect your life. What's going on between Candace and Erica doesn't affect your life. Everything this man is talking about affects your life. You just have to realize it. What number was that? That was number 8. So let's go to number 9 here. Actually, no, we're going to go to number 10. Number 10 is part of what you may not have seen this. You may have not realized, is this really happening? Were we played all along? Only those who weren't paying attention. But do you remember this? So when you saw that, some people, we watched it here together and we were watching that. And as the MBS from Saudi Arabia came out, the first person they passed was Elon Musk. And then, some of you in the chat were like, wow, Elon's there, huh? Elon's back in the groove? And we didn't really know what was going on. Well, now you do. And let me show you.
Elon Musk is starting to fund Republican campaigns for next year's midterms. He's putting out the money. Does this mean Musk and Trump are reestablishing their relationship?
And there's going to be no third party, after all, being bankrolled by Elon Musk. So he has deep pockets, obviously, and he's being seen as Republicans' secret weapon to keeping control of Congress next year. Axios is reporting that Musk has already cut some pretty big checks to Republicans in their Senate and House races. Of course, he donated nearly $300 million to help Republicans, mostly Donald Trump, last year, and it worked. And while there was a bit of a falling out a few months ago between the president and the world's richest man, I think you can say they've made up.
I heard that today and I went, oh my God, we're watching an opera, some sort of symphony. Yeah, I guess you can say they've made up. Wow, just before the first of the year. Just as he said we need to primary people. No, there's not going to be some third party with Elon. That was all a ruse. And now we know for a fact that he's funding certain people in the GOP. Didn't hear that on the liberal media anywhere. Didn't hear that from the influencers anywhere. I don't know if they could put that in a poll. Hey, what happens if Elon starts funding people again? Oh, you didn't see that one coming, did ya? Because you weren't paying attention to it. And so now Elon is back in the fold as well. So don't tell me that things aren't happening. Don't tell me that what you're seeing has not been orchestrated by an absolute genius. I'm not sure who the genius is. Maybe it's Trump. Maybe it's Susie Wiles. Maybe it's Stephen Miller. But something is being orchestrated that nobody knows what's happening until they decide, tell everybody. So some of you right now are going, yeah, I just dumped a whole bunch on you. And that big one there about Elon putting the money out, that's a huge one. They haven't started yet. They're still doing music and stuff. So I just wanted to let you guys know. that you haven't missed anything. And hold on, let me put that music down a little bit, or chatter. Yeah, so we can all see when something begins to happen. And in the interim, I'll go ahead and take some comments because it's about showtime. We shall see what's going on. As you can see, it's a small ballroom. We don't have a big ballroom, but they're getting ready for President Trump to come out. And as soon as he does, Nancy says they're all a company of genius. Robert says, I've been paying attention. Elon is back in the circle of trust. I don't think Elon ever left the circle of trust. I think they just had to try and let people think that there was some sort of breakup point. The whole cabinet members are genius. Yeah, I was just seeing Howard Lutnick came in and sat up front, so President Trump shouldn't be too far. Hey, look, wait, look over here. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on. What's the show in the ballroom? All right, so tonight, President Trump they're going to be having a celebration of the menorah, which is for Hanukkah. And President Trump is going to be participating in that, and he's going to be coming in any second. Not sure if Melania is going to be there, but we shall see. Yeah, we don't have the big ballroom yet. Nope. I believe they broke up to take some heat off of his companies, possibly. Let's see. Good evening, everyone. And Barry, how you doing, Mr. Tate? Exactly. Let's hope he is donating to the right ones. I'm pretty sure. Virginia says she agrees. Elon never left. No, I don't think I don't think he could leave. He's what, the biggest defense contractor or war contractor, we can say. Is Venezuela, I think you meant to say, is Venezuela part of NATO? Nope. Venezuela is on their own unless China or Russia decided they wanted to get some. And I don't think they want to get involved. Elon was leaving an optical illusion to flush people out. Excuse me. Somebody else says, I don't think Elon ever left. I don't think so. I don't think he did either. All right, so while we're waiting for that, I guess I can move to the next thing that I was going to talk to you about. I kind of hinted at it with the whole stuff about Dan Bongino today. You guys remember this?
I'm really just a little bit overwhelmed because with the show and all the clips and having everybody here, it's the energy kind of just distracts you from the reality of what's about to happen, and it really hit me this morning. I want you to know how much I love you guys. I mean that. People throw that term around, but I really love you guys. I feel like I've met so many of you. Some of you I've never even seen, whether it was Eric or Jeremy on the radio show. I chose early on to interact with my audience in kind of a different way, and it's paid me back so many dividends. And there's nothing more incredible than going out at a book signing and someone goes, hey, how'd that treat you gave Lucy the other day work out? And you're like, how'd you know that? Like, you said it on the radio. I'm like, I did? Like, that people, the relationship seems so asymmetric at times. Like, you know about me, but I don't know about you. But I know all I need to know about you, which is you've been there for me when I needed you. And to walk away from this was, I promise you, was not easy. But I absolutely know that this was the right thing to do. I've told you over and over, but that measure the effectiveness of what you do in your life by how people who stand and tell you to stop react. And the reaction has been exactly what I expected. I promise you this, I'm going there with a clear mission in mind. I go there with a clear head. This was done for the right reasons. And I am really, really, really going to miss doing this and being here with you every day.
So, the question I'm going to ask you is, do you think that somebody who felt that way just a few months ago is ready to bail with so much unfinished business? I don't. I think he went there because he, as he said, he had a mission. And so this is probably what the third or fourth go around we've heard of Dan Bongino's leaving the FBI. He's quitting. He can't take Pam Bondi. We keep hearing that over and over and over. He misses his wife as if he's a high schooler. And the only thing I can say to it is, looking at his face as he was signing off, didn't look like somebody who was going to quit. Sometimes, yes, he was making a lot of money with his podcast, but I think he understood he was going to be doing something that was worth a lot more money. He was going to work to save the country. And me personally, I don't think this guy is going back. I don't think he's quitting. See, that's the part that I have a problem with. If the job was complete, hey, we've done it. We've locked everybody up. We're everything is fine, and I can hand off the baton to somebody else. Well done. Well done. I am not going to put Dan Bongino in the same class as Marjorie Taylor Greene. I do not look at him as a quitter. And I guess one of the things you have to realize too is, I know there are some fervent fans that will do anything, but I would just wonder if he quit, how many people would continue to follow a quitter? I couldn't do it. I could not take it that somebody I'm listening to quit. Oh, he was forced out. No, he wasn't forced out. There's nobody firing him. So I look at this man who had cancer and survived it and everything else, and I don't believe this guy has quit in his body. And so, no, I'm not buying this crap. Not buying it for like even this much. I think Dan's got too much to offer. I think he's got too much to do. I think he wants to make this happen. And the big boss is walking out on stage right now.
Well, thank you very much. Nice place. I guess you've mostly been here, but you like it a lot better with Trump than you like it with Biden. That I can tell you. That's because you're smart. Well, I'm thrilled to welcome so many good friends to the White House as we celebrate the third night of Hanukkah. Right? Third night. Time flies. Let me take a moment to send the love and prayers to our entire nation, to the people of Australia, and especially all those affected by the horrific and anti-Semitic terrorist attack, and that's exactly what it is, anti-Semitic, that took place on a Hanukkah celebration in Sydney. What a terrible, terrible thing. We don't learn. We're joined in mourning all of those who were killed, and we're praying for the swift recovery of the wounded. Some are very horrifically wounded, as you probably know. All nations must stand together against the evil forces of radical Islamic terrorism, and we're doing that. Joining us tonight, our Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is doing a fantastic job. Representatives Paul Gosar, David Kutzoff, Claudia Tenney, Ronnie Jackson, he was my White House doctor. Ronnie was asked, who is the healthiest of all? Was it Barack Hussein Obama? Was it Sleepy Joe Biden? Or was it Donald Trump? And he said Trump was by far the healthiest. He was the doctor for all three of us, and he said Trump was by far the healthiest. I love him. If he didn't say that, I would have never have talked to him again. Where is Ronnie? Is he here? Ronnie Jackson, what a great legend. Josh Gottheimer's here. Mr. Salt is here, Mike Lawler. He's the only guy could have gotten that for New York. Nobody else. He worked so hard on that. Will you please focus on the midterms, please? Do you mind? Okay. Because you can do it. Jared Moskowitz. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Jared. Max Miller is here. Great old Max. He was my music man in the White House. He knew music better than any human being. Craig Goldman. Thank you, Craig. And Randy Fine, new to Congress, but he's done a great job. He's been great. As well as the mayor of Boca Raton, Florida, Scott Singer. Thank you very much. Thank you, Scott. Good place. I love Boca. National Chairman of the Republican Jewish Committee, Norm Coleman. Thank you, Norm. Looking good, Norm. CEO of the Republican Jewish Coalition, Matt Brooks. He says Trump is the greatest president we've ever had, so I like him. I'll take Matt any day. Thank you, Matt. CEO of the Israeli-American Council, Ellen Carr. Thank you. We have a man. I have to take a little time. Because every Saturday night, used to be Sunday, then he did so well that they put him on Saturday too, Saturday night. Do you know who I'm talking about? Because there's only one has Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday is considered Death Valley, but it's not death because of ratings. Nobody gets good ratings. Although actually my daughter-in-law is doing well, and you always did well. The great one, Mark Levin. And much more importantly, his much more brilliant wife. Where are you? There you are. Would you come on up here, both of you? Get up here. Get up here. Look, every Saturday, every Sunday, I'm forced to watch television to listen to this guy talk about how frickin' great I am. Because he does like Trump. There's no question about it. Come on up here, Mark. Get up here. Come on up. What a beautiful couple. Did you get lucky? If you weren't a genius, you wouldn't have a wife like this. Mark, say a couple of words. Come here, darling. And these people do like Israel.
Hold on. And he loves Israel too.
It's true.
2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. 6 years ago, I was up here. And I said, this is our first Jewish president.
It's true.
Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged. And we found out, and you see that happening. But,
and you are the greatest president.
Thank you very much.
And God bless you. I miss you. I miss you.
Take care of that guy. Take care of that guy. No, he's so great. Thank you, Mark, for both being here. You both really are amazing. So, Rabbi Yehuda Kaplan. Thank you, Rabbi. Oh, no. Sid Rosenberg. There he is. Sid. Do you want to come up here, Sid? Mark, should I let Sid come up, Mark? I think so. Come on, Sid. So Sid's got the #1 radio show in New York. Got the #1 radio show in New York, like by far, ABC. Works for a really nice guy, too. Actually, he's not that nice, but he's nice as far as I'm concerned. He works for a good man. Say a few words, Sid. Thank you.
I love him. Do you all love him? Has there been a president even close to this guy, even close? And now I know I love him. He starts tonight talking about Australia. Good luck with anybody else in our government, starting with the Jewish people in Australia. Nobody better. And the fact that you called me up on stage, I'm going to say this. My beautiful wife Danielle's in the audience. The birth of my 2 children. Outside of that, President Trump, this right now is the greatest moment of my life.
He's almost crying. He never cried. He hasn't cried since he's a baby.
By the way, that sound and the cackling with the microphone, it's not me. It's coming in hot from the feed.
Got some good people. Harmeet, thank you very much. Harmeet Dillon is here. And she sues the ass off of anybody that is anti-Semitic. She's doing a lot of them right now. Harvard wished they never heard her name, right? They're going to pay a lot of money, right, Harmeet? I'm going to pay a lot of money. Sid, it's an honor to have you up, and you do a great show, and we appreciate it. And say hello to the Casamatides person, who's fantastic. And another person, I really love her. I think she's a beautiful woman. You're not allowed to say that anymore, because if you do, it usually means the end of your political career. But I've been threatened much worse than that. I think she's a beautiful woman, inside and out. Liz Pipko. Liz, say, come up here. Enough with the Sid and the Mark. Come on up here. Look at her. She has been so strong for Israel and for our country. Let's say a few words, please. Hi, thank you.
First, I want to address the elephant in the room, which is me tonight. I am grateful to President Trump for so many things, but now most of all, I'm grateful for this tiny miracle which exists because Donald Trump ran for office in 2016. I met the love of my life on that campaign, and now in addition to saving the world, I will have a child, thanks to President Trump. And much more importantly, the Jewish people have been through a lot, of course, the last few years, last weekend, and I just hope on this holiday of miracles, we realize what a miracle it is to be in the greatest country on the face of the earth, in the most beautiful building, and with the greatest president this world has ever seen.
Congratulations. That's right. She was on the campaign, and she was so effective and great. And we always have to remember the ones that have been great in good times and bad. That's why Mark and the people I introduce, because I don't introduce them when they're just sort of good. When they're good, everyone's good. The day after I won the election, they were, sir, I just want to tell you, you're the greatest person I've ever seen. Thank you, sir. I'd love to have dinner sometime. Where have you been for the last 2 years? We have a lot of those people, mostly those. Jason, how are you, Jason? Jason Greenblatt. Do you know Jason Greenblatt? He worked for me for years. He's a great lawyer. Then he made a lot of money, and he said, I'm getting out. And you focused on Israel, right? That was the focus. He says, I love Israel. I just want to focus on Israel. It's good to see you, Dave. I haven't seen you in a long time, but he was a great lawyer. Here's another great lawyer, David. Good to have you here. Good to have you here, David. And we have another person that's a very special person. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She is a beautiful woman, actually, in my opinion. Another one. That's 2 reasons now. And third, by the way, Mark, we have 3 reasons, Mark, because your wife is incredible, always, from day one. But I think it's okay if we ask Miriam Adelson. Do you want to come up, Miriam? Come up here, Miriam. Miriam gave my campaign, indirectly and directly, $250 million. She was number 1. When somebody can give you $250 million, I think that we should give her the opportunity to say hello. And Miriam, make it quick, because $250 million is not what it used to be. Okay? Hello, darling. Come on. Incredible woman with a great husband, a man that loved Israel.
Well, Mr. President, when you were in the Israeli parliament and you gave a speech and you saw me from far away, at that time I came with a scooter to the parliament just to hear you. I wanted to hear you alive. And then you say, Miriam Adelson, and I stood for a second, but it was so painful, so I sat. Then you screamed, Miriam, stand up! And I wish you would have known, but I stood up and heard all your compliment, and thank you very much.
I saw you back there standing.
Yeah, you saw me.
She stood
Thank
up
you.
bravely.
And now I met Alan Dershowitz, and he said the legal thing about 4 more years, and I said, Alan, I agree with you, so we can do it. Think about it.
Alan's
and
here someplace. Where's Alan?
Alan is here, or he had a flight? Alan is here? Think about it.
Thank you.
Maybe I will be the first one who told you, or second. Yeah.
She said, think about it. I'll give you another $250 million. But her husband, Sheldon, was an amazing guy, and he'd come up to the office, and there was nobody more aggressive than Sheldon. I think I spent more time with him and you, because you usually came up together, but he'd call and say, can I come over, please? I say, Sheldon, I'm president of the United States. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's like maybe tomorrow. How about tomorrow? No, please, just for a little while. And he'd always say 10 minutes. It turned out to be about an hour and a half, right? And what he did is he fought for Israel. That's all he really fought for. He just wanted to take care of Israel. So he was a great guy. He was a fantastic man, and he loved you so much he couldn't see straight. So good. Thank you, darling. Be careful. Be careful. We don't want her falling. You know, when you fall, it's not good for politics. We had a man that fell a lot. I don't want to talk too much because I'll have my day, I'm sure, you know. They're waiting, the press. See all that press back there? They're waiting. Oh, would they like to see Trump trip off the stage? I would never live it down. But anyway, and we have so many friends. I can't mention everybody, but we have so many friends. Hello, my man. How are you? Boy, we have good people here tonight, huh? This is the A-list. This is the A-list of any list. But it's an honor to have you all. It really is. What you've done and what you've gone through is incredible. And as a people, there's never been anything like it. You know, I told Bibi, I said, you know, it's amazing what you've done. Because when you look at the Middle East, you take a map of the Middle East, I said, the land is so small. It's so tiny. It's like hard to believe what you've been able to do. Now, it helped the B-2 bombers that we sent in to wipe out the... We gave them a lot of help. It helped when we were shooting all those drones down from jet fighters. Don't ever let anyone tell you a drone is better than a jet fighter. A drone's very nice. But when you have F-22s circling around them like there's nothing, just shooting the crap out of them out of the air, don't let anyone convince you that a drone is better than an F-22 or an F-35 or any of that stuff. But they're nice. They're nice. But we had our fighters shooting the hell out of 2,000 drones were launched at Israel, and they were just knocking them out. The only problem, on occasion, they'd run out of bullets. But every one of them took out a drone, and we did a great job. And then we did the best job of all, as we knocked out the Iran nuclear power. And they would have had that, and within a month, I think they would have been a much different story. Would have been talking from a much different place. But the story of Hanukkah began more than 2,000 years ago in ancient Jerusalem, when the oppressive tyrant, and they were really oppressive, tried. By the way, a lot of things don't change so much. They'd be oppressive today if you didn't have strength. You need strength, Mark, right? If you don't have strength, and if you don't have a partner with a good president, don't forget you had a president previously that believed in Iran. They ditched the entire world for Iran. That's why they signed the Iran nuclear deal that I terminated immediately. It was the worst deal. And Bibi Netanyahu came over here to beg Barack Hussein Obama not to sign that deal, but he signed it. He signed it. It was a whole different world. And that's why I wonder. I got the highest Jewish vote. Now, I have to say, in Israel, they say I'm at 99%. But over here, I was like at 50. It meant that 50% of the people over here voted for Kamala. Is that possible? Is that even possible, right? So anyway, but they suppressed the Jewish worship and imposed foreign rules. Are we okay over there? Just want to make sure you're okay. You okay? Good. I want to make sure you're perfect. Okay? Thank you very much, yeah. Yeah, is there a doctor? Get a doctor over there, please, just in case. Go ahead, hop over there, please. Okay? Good. Thank you very much. Everything good? Okay. Great person. Against overwhelming odds, a small band of Jewish fighters rose up to defend the Jewish people's right to worship freely. When they reclaimed the Holy Temple, they found only a single flask of sacred oil, just enough to keep the menorah's light burning for one night. They wanted that light to burn just for one night. Yet, as the story goes, that small flame endured for 8 days. Do you know that story? Does everybody know that story? For thousands of years, the miracle of Hanukkah has reminded us of God's love for the Jewish people, as well as their enduring resilience and faith in the face of centuries of persecution. Centuries. And it continues. It continues. Who would believe this could continue? And it sort of started here with schools and universities, and Harmeet's taking care of that situation very strongly in the Department of Justice, right? Who would believe it? But we're grateful to be joined by another reminder of that unbreakable strength, two courageous survivors of the Nazi Holocaust, Jerry Worotsky and Michael Bornstein. Where are they? Where are you guys? Well, you look good. You look better than I do. You look fantastic. Jerry was only 9 years old when the Nazis invaded Poland. He lost both of his parents in the camps, but refused to let their murder defeat him. After the war, he came to New York, where he had an incredibly successful career, became very successful, and became a good friend of Melania and myself. And I want to thank you, Jerry, and that's incredible what took place. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much. And Michael Bornstein lost both his father and mother in Auschwitz when he was just a very young man, a toddler actually. Through the love and sacrifice of other family members, he managed to survive and reunite with his mother in later years. They would come to America, where Michael received a scholarship to college and eventually earned a PhD in chemistry and became one of the most brilliant chemists anywhere around. So Michael and Jerry, I want to just thank you. We're honored to have you. This whole group of people are very honored to have you both. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. As President of the United States, I will always support Jewish Americans, and I will always be a friend and a champion to the Jewish people. I have been. And I will say, you know, if you go back 10, 12, 15 years ago at the most, the strongest lobby in Washington was the Jewish lobby. It was Israel. That's no longer true. You have to be very careful. You have a Congress in particular which is becoming anti-Semitic. You have AOC +3. You have those people, Ilhan Omar, she hates Jewish people. And you have to be very careful because there's been a big change. You know, if you go back 15 years ago, I'm not Jewish, but my father was very friendly with many, many Jewish people, was honored by Federation. I would go with him to Federation of Jewish Philanthropies and many other things. And we grew up respecting and loving Jewish people. You know, you don't even think about it. In Brooklyn and Queens mostly. And my father didn't go to Manhattan. He never went to Manhattan from the standpoint. He could never understand how in Brooklyn you could buy a piece of land for $3 a foot and how in Manhattan you had to pay $1,000 a foot. He said, I can't get that. I don't like it. I like to buy it for $3. So it was different. It's a different thinking. In a way, I'm glad he didn't do that because he let me have some of that fun. And I had a lot of fun in Manhattan. We did great. But my father would tell me the most powerful lobby that there is in this country is the Jewish lobby. It's the Israeli lobby. It's not that way anymore. You have a lot of people in your way. You have a lot of people that don't want to help Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that don't like Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that, in a way, I think, Mike, we could say it, right? You're there. You're doing an amazing job, Mike Lawler. They hate Israel. They hate Israel. And if you would have told me 15 years ago that that was possible, Jason, I would have said, there's no way. There's no way that's possible. But it's happening. And obviously, it's getting progressively worse. Less so in the Senate, but the Senate's starting also. You get glimmers, you know, when I'm in the back rooms talking to people, you get glimmers of statements that you say, whoa, where did that come from?
So we have to be, Sid, we have to be very careful because bad things are happening. And then you see what goes on in Australia or October 7th. How about October 7th? And then you have people that deny it ever happened. How about the people that deny, like they deny the Holocaust, but you figure, well, that's just many years. Well, October 7th is not many years at all. And you have people that deny October. I saw tape that I wish I never saw it, actually. I wish I never saw it. I got to see tape that some of you got to see, but as president, I got to see things I wish I never saw. But there's no denying it. But then they'll say, oh, the tape was a rigged tape. It was a tape that never existed. They made it up. It's just propaganda. I don't know if they believe it. I don't think they believe it, but you have to be very, very careful. Bad things are happening, and we're not going to let that happen. While I'm president and the DOJ and Harmeet, we're not going to let it happen. But please be vigilant and careful because you have some bad people that are now in Congress that were unthinkable to be in Congress 12, 13, 14 years ago, 15 years ago. Within days of taking office, I signed a historic executive order to combat the vile scourge of anti-Semitism, as you know. It's the strongest executive order of its kind ever signed. And we're also mobilizing federal resources to protect Jewish students and faculty. The faculty is under siege. The students are under siege. When you look at Columbia, you look at Harvard, you look at some of these schools, what's going on. But the faculty on campuses across America and are deporting foreign jihadist sympathizers and terrorist supporters at record levels. We're deporting them. We're not putting them in jails. We're deporting them. I terminated the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. And this summer, we obliterated Iran's nuclear program like nobody's ever seen. And even that CNN fake news, they're back there. The camera's roaring. The light will go off in any second now. They hate when I mention their name because they know it's only bad because they're crooked as hell. They're fake news, the term. I think it's one of my better terms, Sid, right? I don't think anybody takes it away. We have some good ones, Pocahontas, but I think fake news is probably pretty good. The only problem is it's actually not strong enough. Fake, it's crooked, corrupt, disgusting news, but we'll have to do with fake. But fake isn't strong enough. That's the only problem. It's actually, I wish I could come up with a word that's really more powerful than fake, but fake is good enough. But CNN with the attack on Iran, they said, well, I used the word we obliterated them. You know why? Because the pilots told me they know better than anybody, and the pilots told everything, and then we had visuals. And these pilots are coming back after having endured the most dangerous ride. I said, did you guys, I had them all to the Oval Office. After 2 weeks after the attack, I had them all. I had the pilots, and I had the people that maintained the planes. I had the people that fly the tankers. We had 52 tankers because we had the 7 major planes. We also had 4 planes flying of the B-2, flying in different directions. Iran didn't know what the hell was happening. But we had a whole force of F-22s, most beautiful fighter jet ever made, most powerful fighter jet ever made. And F-35 is a brand new one. And they're stealth. Believe me, they're stealth because they went into Iranian airspace and Iran never saw anything. And it was, think of this, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was dark at night. There was no moon at all, no light, no nothing. And every single bomb went right down those air shafts into Granite Mountains, right down those air shafts. At 2 o'clock in the morning with no vision, every single bomb hit its target. And CNN said on the way back, they were on the way, they hadn't even landed yet, well, maybe the attack wasn't that bad. Because I used the word obliteration. I turned out to be right. The Atomic Energy Commission shortly thereafter said it was total obliteration. Iran actually said it was total obliteration. In fact, they said touchdown. Yeah, it was a touchdown. But it was amazing. And we've never had an apology from CNN, So you have fake news against you, fake news. And I didn't fight for you. I wasn't fighting for you there. I was fighting for those pilots that were so brave to go there. When they came into the Oval Office, I said, you can't seriously enjoy this. They said, sir, we enjoy every minute of it. We were practicing this and the predecessors. We were practicing for 22 years, they said. For 22 years they were practicing, and no president had the courage to let them go and do that. They wanted to do it for 22 years, and the predecessors mean the young pilots at the time. But for 22 years, 3 times a year, they were practicing that run. And I'm the one that said, let's go get them, let's do it. And if we didn't, and they thanked me. But I did say to the pilots, you know, enough is enough. I said, do you really like being in that plane when they're waiting for you? They know you're coming. It's dark. It's cold. It's everything is, and you're in a plane, and there are bullets flying all over the place. Sir, I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. Can you believe these people? And I love you people, but I'm not getting in that plane. I love you guys, but these people are unbelievable. The talent they have, the way they can fly those things, the way they can aim it at a target in the dark of night, the darkest you've ever seen. They wanted to be as dark as possible. They didn't want anything. And the only time anybody could see those planes was when those bomb chutes open up, because it becomes totally unstealth when it goes. I explained that to Mark Levin once. You're going in, you go like this, and as soon as it goes like this, for some reason, the plane is totally visible, not good. And I watched it happening, and just, it's like I'm sitting home watching it. You know, it's amazing. The Situation Room is an amazing place. But I watched him go, bing, bing. It went bing, bing, and 2 massive 100,000-pound bombs come pouring out. And the job they did was incredible. I mean, compare that to, I mean, look, I thought he was a nice man, but compare that to the Jimmy Carter attack on Iran. That was not good, with the helicopters and the men running all over the place trying to get the hell out of there. This was not good. This was the single greatest military attack that anyone's ever seen. And that sort of put an end to, we helped Israel very much, as you know, with their attacks on Iran before that, but that really put an end to it, because they were about a month away from having a nuclear weapon. I officially recognize the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Is Julie good? She right? Or where's Julie? Oh, good. I thought it was you that went down. It wasn't you? Oh, good. I was worried about, I didn't care about anybody else. I said, is Julie in trouble? I thought it was you. Good. It's somebody else. I wish them good luck, but I don't want that to happen to Julie. That's Mark's wife, by the way. And yeah, we love Julie. But I didn't see Julie ever going down. She's not, she's like a rock, right? Mark, she's a rock. I wouldn't want to have her as my enemy. She was also a great lawyer, by the way. I also recognize the Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, right? And that's one they didn't even ask me. Even Sheldon, who is the most aggressive human being there is in the entire world. This incredible woman, although she had total control. He was aggressive with everybody, but Miriam, he wouldn't play games with Miriam, but he was actually a sweetheart. But he never even asked me about the Golan Heights, because he said, that's a step too far. I actually gave it because I called up. I heard so much about Golan Heights. From Jason Greenblatt, I heard it, from so many people. And I actually asked David Friedman. I said, he was the ambassador at the time, good guy. He said, and by the way, Mike Huckabee's doing a great job now. Two good ones, two very good ones. But I asked David Friedman, I don't know if David's here, but I asked him, because he is so Israel-oriented. I mean, he's great. I said, David, tell me about Golan Heights in 5 minutes or less. You know, I'm taking in like 1,000 years of history in 5 minutes. I said, give it to me in 5 minutes or less. And after about 2 minutes, I said, I understand. You need it so badly for so many other reasons. You need it for defense. You know, in the old days, before we had all the sophisticated radar and all the things, it was everything, because you were up high. But I learned enough, and I signed the Golan Heights, the rights to the Golan Heights over to Israel. Nobody thought that was possible to get. They've been working on it for 70 years, Mark. 70 years. You know, planes would fly into places that have meetings that would last 2-3 days. All they talked about was the Golan Heights, right, Jason? And nobody ever did anything. But I did it, and we did it quickly. And I say, good luck to you. Then I found out the value of it, trillions of dollars. It could be worth, if you think, trillions of dollars. I said, maybe I should have asked him for something. But with Jared Kushner's help, Jared has been a great fan of Israel, the Kushner family. And by the way, how good is Steve Witkoff doing, right? You know, I got Steve involved in Russia, Ukraine, and the Middle East. We have, by the way, bottom line, we have legitimate peace in the Middle East. You know, you may have a little outbreak every once, but we have 59 countries all signed on. They want to, they'll do whatever is necessary. And Hamas, say what you want. Hamas, you know, we got back all of the hostages and all of the dead, young, beautiful people that were dead. And nobody thought that would happen. In fact, I even said, the toughest are going to be that final 20. We're never going to get them. But we played very tough, and we were very tough. We meant it. And we wanted to get back the 28 dead. 28 dead, young, beautiful people dead. Most of them, I think, pretty young. All of them pretty young. And the parents came up to me, and I told the story before. We had another little celebration of Hanukkah before. But I told the story before where the parents were as dedicated to getting their dead son back as they were to getting the live son back. It was an amazing and a beautiful thing, but I didn't think it would be possible. And then when we got the 20 back, when we got the live back, we didn't have anywhere close to the 28 dead. And I said, there's no way, but I said, you got to get it back. You got to get them back. I told that to Hamas, got to get them back. And you know what? One by one by one, we got them back. And we got the last one back. We got them all back. And amazing, though, those parents were as dedicated, I can't say more, but they were as dedicated as the parents who knew their son was alive, and they begged to have him. And I'm very proud of it. I thought the last 20, and it was tough, I didn't know. But Steve Witkoff was great. Jared Kushner was great. And, you know, Jared's a brilliant guy, we all know. But Steve's a great deal maker. But I noticed one thing about him. He had the greatest personality. He was a real estate guy in New York. He knew less about rivers and meets and bounds in Russia and the various places he's working on. He knew nothing about it. But I recognized for 20 years, I've been dealing with everybody in New York. I said, Steve has the best personality. I have other guys that are great deal makers, but you have to go into World War III before the deal. We didn't want that. I said, everybody loves Steve. He's a great deal maker, but everybody loves him. And that's what turned out to be. People love Steve. And I think we're going to be pretty close. I mean, we're going to see. I thought the easiest war to settle would be Russia, Ukraine, because they have a good relationship with Putin. It would have never happened if I were president. That would have never, and it didn't happen for 4 years. Putin understood, would have never, ever happened. But Steve has done a fantastic job, and he loves Israel, and he's done a great job. So we did Israel, and we did peace in the Middle East, and we have a real peace. That's a real peace. If Hamas acts up, they know it's big trouble. And we have Hezbollah, as you know, in Lebanon, and they're big trouble. But we have peace, and we have many countries that want to go in and take out Hezbollah if it happens, if we want to do it. Not just Israel. Many countries would do it. There's tremendous unity now in the Middle East, and we really do. We really have peace in the Middle East for the first time ever, so it's an honor. It's an honor. So we did our ceasefire agreement to end the war in Gaza, which everybody said was an impossibility, and we begin the new era of that beautiful peace in a place that nobody thought peace was possible, the Middle East. So congratulations, everybody in this room. Everybody wanted it. But the story of Hanukkah reminds us that light will always prevail over darkness, and faith and triumph over fear. Together, let us honor the eternal flame and the faith that has always protected the Jewish people. You are protected. You are special, special people. You are special people. So I want to thank everybody. I want to wish you all a happy Hanukkah. And you know, this is the first time that I've ever brought up notes to make a speech for. We call them the Christmas dinners. I call them the Christmas Hanukkah dinners, if that's okay. I hope you don't mind. But I call them New Year's dinners too. but I've made about 20 of them so far. I never had any others. I brought this up. You know why? I've done so much for Israel that I have to read. Look at it. I got like pages. And I don't want to leave anything out. I don't want to leave Golan Heights out. I want to tell you what we did. But it's an honor to help. You have so many friends, and a lot of you are right in this audience. Very special group of people. You know, for every time we have one of these parties, we have to turn down 10 people for everyone that makes it. It's the White House. Soon you'll have a ballroom that's so big I can handle. And we just won the case today. Did you know that, Mark? We just won the case. We got sued. We're donating a $400 million ballroom, and we got sued not to build it. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and we're giving them, myself and donors are giving them, free of charge, for nothing. We're donating a building that's approximately 400 million. I think I'll do it for less, but it's 400. I should do it for less. I will do it for less. But just in case I say 400, otherwise if I go $3 over, the press will say, it costs more. I build under budget and ahead of schedule. Right, Jason? Always. I know how to build under budget. I build good. But we won the case. They asked for a restraining order to stop us from building a magnificent ballroom. I said, who would ask for a restraining? We're giving them, Sid, a $400 million. It'll be the most beautiful ballroom, and it'll handle inaugurations. It's got 5-inch thick glass windows. It's impenetrable by anything but a howitzer. It's impenetrable. Now, I will say, if I'm up making a speech someday, Mark, and I hear ding, 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 I'm out of there. But it's going to be one of the greatest. I think it'll be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. But I said, who else but in our country would sue to stop a $400 million beautiful ballroom that people have been after for the White House? The White House has wanted a ballroom for 150 years. You know, they used to use a tent, and they have a tent, and the tent would go in a very low area because it's the only area that can handle a big tent. And if it rained, the rain would go over the woman's beautiful shoes with the high heels, about 6-7 inches worth of water. They'd be sitting in the water, and people said, would rather have that than a brand new. This ballroom is going to be amazing. Also designed to handle the inauguration so that you have total safety from not only the weather. January 20th is always a disaster from a coldness standpoint. But, you know, we had it in the Capitol, and there was nothing more beautiful. But from a safety standpoint, we can do better. So we're going to have something that's really, really spectacular. And I thank the judge on the case for the courage in making the proper decision, because we didn't want to be held up. We would win that automatically anyway, but we didn't want to be held up or delayed. We want to go, and right outside you see the pile drivers going boom, 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 and my wife is being driven crazy. She said, this is not what I had in mind. You know, the first day she was great. She heard these piles that go down 150 feet into the ground, boom. Second day she was okay. Third day she wasn't thrilled, and after that it's been brutal. But you know what? You're going to have the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world, and you're going to love it. It's going to fit beautifully with the White House. Happy Hanukkah. Have a great year. We love you, and we love Israel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Read the prayers. Read the prayers. Into the mic.
Good evening. We're about to proceed to light the menorah. Mr. President, you know that I'm Jewish. You know that I'm American. You heard? Yeah. You know that I'm American, but you may not know that a very large part of my family lives in Australia. And that includes some of those who had escaped the attack and some who didn't. And all I can say is, listening to them on the other side of the world speak about you, you don't just express solidarity, you practice solidarity with the Jewish people. And you practice solidarity with Israel, perhaps in a way we've never seen before, to the extent that many people say and many people believe that you may very well be, even among the friends of Israel and the Jewish people we've had, the most, the strongest, the deepest friend that Israel and the Jewish people have ever had here in the White House. That's not to negate anything anyone has done for us, but just to tell you how so many people feel about you. We're going to light the menorah, which gives us a message of the victory of right over might, of justice over tyranny, of light over darkness. And it is especially in this time when the Jewish people has so much of a burden that we need this light. We need this strength, not only from each other, but from you, Mr. President, who constantly remind the world that even if they all turn against us, God forbid, you never will. And so I think that it is a great honor that I've been invited to lead the lighting of the menorah here this year. And I want to wish you and your family good health and happiness, strength and safety to our troops, serving stateside abroad. May God bless America. May God bless Israel. May God bless the Jewish people. Thank you. We're going to make two blessings. We're going to make two blessings, after which we're going to light 3 candles. And then all those who know the words can join us in Ma'oz Tzur. Please join if you know the words and the tune. Mitzah Thank you very much. Wish everyone a happy Hanukkah. Thank you.
Happy Hanukkah.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Howard Lutnick, and I am proud to serve as the Secretary of Commerce for President Trump.
Tariffs!
President Trump, from the campaign trail and every day since, has been committed to the Jewish people and to Israel. And I told everyone on the campaign trail that President Trump would be the best friend in the White House the Jews and Israel has ever had, and he has delivered exactly that. Exactly that. He speaks with moral clarity. When the fake news would come at him and say Israel and the IDF were committing genocide, each and every time he came at the media, at the fake news, and said, no, it was October 7th when they murdered, they raped, and they killed babies. He made it crystal clear each and every time, and that is why I love serving in the administration of Donald J. Trump, the greatest president ever. Thank you. Happy Hanukkah, everyone.
Well, in case you guys have never seen that kind of a ceremony, I see it all the time living down here in Boca. It was very interesting. The mayor of Boca, Scott Singer, who I interviewed, I showed you guys the interview a week or so ago. I might have to replay that. But our mayor, Scott Singer, President Trump acknowledged him from the stage, along with the rabbi and everybody else. Howard Tariff Lutnick was there. So that was a ceremony. SV told me you only had to bounce like 5 or 6 people. You had to get rid of 5 or 6 people who were absolute nuts. So thank you to the rest of you who just, whatever your feelings are, you're going to see it all over Twitter, so you don't have to worry about it. They're going to be complaining. They're going to be bitching. They're going to be screaming, Israel, whatever. I think what President Trump, the statement he made tonight was there's no separation. There is no separation from the Israelis and President Trump. So if you don't like that, get over it. That's where we're going to be. He has made his commitment to Israel, and he has brought in, Howard Lutnick and other Jewish people to his cabinet, and this is where we are. Israel is going to be a friend and ally to the United States. Like it or not. People on X want to complain about it, so what? You know who's got some complaining to do tonight? Before we go, let me show you something. Let me show you somebody who's got some complaining to do tonight.
Yesterday, we had the FBI director on this show, and he said to us, more accountability is coming. And he said it could come with Antifa. It could come with big public officials. Well, tonight, 3 separate indictments have been unleashed in the last hour. Let me walk you through them. The first is a former national security advisor, John Bolton. 18 felonies accusing President Trump's former national security advisor, the man who turned against the president, of mishandling classified information. Thousands of pages, the government alleges, were sent by John Bolton to 2 relatives who lived in his home, giving secret information from his daily doings at the White House. Some of that information was classified. Other documents taken home or to his office were marked classified. Highly sensitive, top secret, at the compartmentalized level is what the indictment says.
Boom, boom. Well, it looks like Comey is trying to wiggle out of it. Looks like Letitia James is trying to wiggle out of it. They slammed the trap shut on John Bolton. 18 federal charges, 18 of them indicted today, just a little while ago. Gotta like that.
This is a very serious national security indictment. In fact, one of the most sweeping I've seen in a long time as a reporter. Now, while that was going on, a separate grand jury in Miami indicted Smartmatic, the election computer company. The company.
Are you taking all this in? All right, Maduro's over here, pooping biscuits, and over here he's doing all this other stuff with, and now you find out they indicted today or this evening, not just John Bolton, but they indicted Smartmatic, which is tied into Venezuela, which is tied into the, quote, truckload of 2020 evidence. You following how all this is beginning to happen? Oh, by the way, some of you guys didn't hear it, but when Miss Adelson, Miriam Adelson, came up to the stage, little old lady with lots of bucks, she let out a cat out of that bag that a lot of people probably didn't catch, and if they did, you'll hear it in the news tomorrow. Because I was talking to Alan and Dershowitz, and we think we found a way for you to run one more time. I'm like, oh no, Ixnay, no, don't say it right now. I got 250 million more for you. And I was like, OMG, the liberals are going to explode. And by the way, what President Trump was talking about, in case you don't know, let me back up a second. Norm Eisen and his group, who are suing President Trump over literally everything. Everything he does, they sue. They sued to stop the free construction on the ballroom. Yeah, let that sink in. Like he said during the speech. They sued him to stop building a free ballroom. But the Pam Bondi ain't doing anything crowd. You might want to sink your teeth into this. Today, the Justice Department attorneys defeated an attempt to stop President Trump's totally lawful East Wing modernization and state ballroom project. President Trump has faced countless bad faith, left-wing legal attacks. This was no different. We will continue defending the president's project in court in the coming weeks. So just tonight alone, to all the Pam Bondi haters, right now, just to all the Pam Bondi haters, you now know today they stopped or won at least the first round. They ain't going to stop. They're going to keep trying to sue to stop the project on the ballroom, number one. Number two, John Bolton was indicted. Number three, Smartmatic was indicted. That's a lot to think about. That's a whole lot going on.
It creates election machines. The government, the Trump Justice Department, accused Smartmatic of paying $1 million in bribes to win an election contract in the country of the Philippines. That is a second one. And if that doesn't get you excited enough, or at least your head spinning, remember just a few days ago, Democrats said, there's no Antifa, it's just an idea. Well, a grand jury in Dallas disagrees. Just about 5 minutes ago, a grand jury handed up an indictment saying that a cell of 11 Antifa members in North Texas were behind a very serious attack against an ICE facility there.
Okay, wait a second. I didn't see that one coming. So they indicted Antifa, Smartmatic, John Bolton, and it's only Tuesday. So I can't even imagine what he's got planned tomorrow as he's, surrounding Venezuela. And then we still have a rally on Friday. Things are looking very good. We find out today that Elon's back in the camp. What more do people want?
Gripping details in this indictment about going for rifles and trying to create harm to the ICE employees who were just doing their job, arresting illegal aliens and transporting them. This attack occurred back around in July in, I believe it was Fort Worth, if I remember correctly. So 3 indictments in just a short period of time. Yes, accountability is beginning to come. The sort of things that Kash Patel said yesterday, the sort of things Pam Bondi's been talking about, the things that President Trump promised on the campaign trail coming to bear in the United States court system.
Wow, wow, wow. It just keeps coming. I want to show you this video as well. This was Pete Hegseth dropped the video. I mean, stuff is coming out one after the other. Hold on. Here we go.
I'm here to tell you about a real problem facing our nation's military. It's one you're probably not aware of, but it's a really important one. And it's been going on for far too long. The weakening of our chaplain corps. You see, chaplains are intended to be the spiritual and moral backbone of our nation's forces. George Washington established the chaplain corps in 1775, one of his first actions as General of the Continental Army. Congress authorized chaplains for the Navy that very same year. In Washington's general orders, he explained their importance, quote, "The blessing and protection of heaven are at all times necessary, but especially so in times of public distress and danger." For about 200 years, the Chaplain Corps continued its role as the spiritual leader of our service members, serving our men and women in times of hardship and ministering to their souls. But sadly, as part of the ongoing war on warriors, in recent decades, its role has been degraded. In an atmosphere of political correctness and secular humanism, chaplains have been minimized, viewed by many as therapists instead of ministers. Faith and virtue were traded for self-help and self-care. If you need proof, just look at the current Army Spiritual Fitness Guide. In well over 100 pages, it mentions God one time. That's it. It mentions feelings 11 times. It even mentions playfulness, whatever that is, 9 times. There's zero mention of virtue. The guide relies on New Age notions, saying that the soldier's spirit consists of consciousness, creativity, and connection. The guide itself reports that around 82% of the military are religious, yet ironically it alienates our warfighters of faith by pushing secular humanism. In short, it's unacceptable and unserious, so we're tossing it. I have a directive right here that I will sign today to eliminate the use of the Army Spiritual Fitness Guide effective immediately. These types of training materials have no place in the War Department. Our chaplains are chaplains, not emotional support officers, and we're going to treat them as such. That's why today, at my direction, we are also simplifying the faith and belief coding system. In recent years, it ballooned to over 200 overly complex faith and belief codes. An overwhelming majority of the military population only uses 6 codes. 11 are not used by anyone. So we're going to streamline it and move it to a new list of religious affiliation codes so that our chaplains can actually use it to minister better to the flock. More reforms will be coming in the days and weeks ahead. There will be a top-down cultural shift, putting spiritual well-being on the same footing as mental and physical health, as a first step toward creating a supportive environment for our warriors and their souls. We're going to restore the esteemed position of chaplains as moral anchors for our fighting force. The 1956 Army Chaplains Manual states, quote, "The chaplain is the pastor and the shepherd of the souls entrusted to his care," end quote. This is a high and sacred calling. But this only works if our shepherds are actually given the freedom to boldly guide and care for their flock. Stay tuned for more. We are going to make the Chaplain Corps great again.
Wow. Wow. I mean, there's just so much coming out that's going to make these people's heads explode. For those of you who didn't see Miriam Adelson, where she let the cat out of the bag, it is indeed spreading all over X. I actually have that cut where she said it. You may have to listen closely to what she says here. She kind of whispers it to him. She talks about Alan out there.
And now I met Alan Dershowitz, and he said the legal thing about 4 more years. And I said, Alan, I agree with you. So we can do it. Think about it.
Alan's here someplace. Where's Alan?
Alan is here. Oh, he had a flight. Alan is here.
I don't think she was supposed to say that. I don't think that was supposed to come out the way it is. Before we go, we have John Solomon is on Hannity doing a segment on the indictments and the stuff that happened with Mar-a-Lago today. Let's listen into this.
Mar-a-Lago. Despite this, another agent wrote, quote, DOJ has opined that they do have probable cause, requesting a wide scope, including residence, office, storage space. One official even warned that the information they had was just from a single source, not corroborated, and may have even been dated. Earlier today, on a post on X, FBI Director Kash Patel did confirm the documents, writing in part, quote, we just turned over documents to Capitol Hill to be made public, showing that the FBI told DOJ that they did not have probable cause for raiding President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago, but DOJ didn't give a damn. They did it anyway. Here at the very latest, JustTheNews.com, founder, editor-in-chief, and chief investigative reporter John Solomon. And remember, John, the FBI had access that was given to them by President Trump and his team, open access to the Mar-a-Lago. After they left, they called and said, by the way, would you put another lock on one particular storage room? They complied. Nothing would have prevented them from coming back anytime they wanted, but no probable cause?
Yeah, well, that's what these emails show. First, they show that the Trump administration or the Trump team and his lawyer were cooperating. And in fact, the FBI wanted to leverage that cooperation and create a amicable solution that didn't involve a raid. The Justice Department said they weren't interested in making accommodations like that. Then the FBI told the Justice Department, the Biden Justice Department, that it didn't have probable cause, that the information they had was outdated, single source, couldn't be corroborated. They didn't have true evidence that President Trump himself may have been the source of a crime. And the Justice Department said, we disagree. We're going to go ahead with it. The FBI continued to fight back, saying, we don't think there's probable cause. You certainly can't go to President Trump's office, or you certainly can't go to his bedroom and do it. And the Justice Department response was, you know what, we're going to expand the search. What you see here is a potential Fourth Amendment violation of President Trump's civil liberties. And this is significant, not just from a historical standpoint. A couple of weeks ago, Sean, I interviewed the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, and that's Harmeet Dillon. And she said she is looking at the possibility of bringing criminal charges from anyone who tried to deny President Trump or one of President Trump's supporters their civil rights. That means this evidence, which, by the way, is still in the statute of 5 years, could potentially be prosecutable, or certainly go to the question of whether there should be a prosecution separately. And President Trump has shown he's not afraid to sue. I just asked the BBC, who found out that this week again. President Trump might have a very good suit, according to the legal experts I talked, that his civil liberties were infringed by the Justice Department. So this revelation is not just a historical or political revelation. It could have legal consequences.
No probable cause. If that's not a dual justice system, considering Hillary and Joe Biden, I don't know what is. And, you know, I remember reading something and learning something called unreasonable search and seizure. John Solomon, great reporting. Thank you. All right, Nick.
Wow, wow, wow. It's absolutely insane. And many of you, which I understand, many of you have been like, nothing's happening. I hope the things that you just saw tonight alone put you in a position where you never have to say that. Nothing's happening. A lot is happening. Remember, if you're hearing about it today, it's already been in the works for quite some time. And so now we're finding out that the FBI said we don't have enough information to go into Mar-a-Lago, and Merrick Garland and his thugs said, nope, just go on in there anyway. Go start searching through Melania's underwear drawer. He's going to have these people, he's going to have their heads. He is absolutely going to have their heads. I can't wait until tomorrow night. So just to bring you guys back up to speed, it's going to be a late night tomorrow night. I'm wondering if Caroline Leavitt or anybody is going to do a press conference tomorrow on a Wednesday. I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens. But tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, President Trump is doing an address to the nation. I invite you in to watch it. We'll be here. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. 9 p.m. tomorrow night, but tomorrow, I don't know, probably about 12 or 1, we'll do a daytime show, because I'm pretty sure this is all breaking. I'm sure there's going to be more information about John Bolton. I'm sure there's going to be more information about Venezuela. I'm sure the Democrats are going to lose their mind. Too bad. I'm sorry. not sorry. This is what we voted for. And so that whole Susie Wiles thing, I think, was just meant to get them chasing over here. And I hope, as you've been watching some of my shows, I've been trying to tell you, ignore the bull crap. I almost said it. Ignore the bull crap you see on X. Focus on what's really important. There are so many people, influencers, trying to get you not to look over here for some reason. They don't have your best interest at heart, because this is what really matters to this country. And I hope you guys can all see that. Venezuela is about to be liberated. Yes, it is. And I vote for it again, Tina says. Exactly. This isn't TV cases over in 40 minutes. These cases actually take time, months, many more. Exactly. So we're seeing it. Somebody put Nessun Dorma in here. I agree with you. I think we are seeing the beginning stages of Nessun Dorma. Actually, I know we are. We saw it yesterday. The order went out, and he, classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Today, he declares Venezuela a foreign terrorist organization. Excuse me. So it's happening. It's rolling out. We've been waiting for this for years, and we're getting it bit by bit. And he's leading us along and telling you, we're going to do this. We just did this. Oh, by the way, look at all these military guys behind me. Oh, yeah, weapon of mass destruction. Oh, here's foreign terrorists. How did they surround the entire country of Venezuela without people looking? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Whew. Amazing. I mean, I am stunned that this kind of stuff is going on, and the media doesn't know what to do. You know what that tells me?
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
I can't wait till tomorrow. I mean, I'm getting up these days early in the morning because I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. It's like every single day. And he's loving it. So I don't know what he's going to say tomorrow night, but then we got a rally on Friday. It just keeps getting better. Hold on to everything. I think we're going to see some stuff that we've wanted to see for quite some time. All right, let me do super chat so I can get you guys out of here. It's a short list, so let's go ahead and do this. Boom. Oops, I got to move that over. There we go. Fakowski says it's on. It's definitely on. Whose place is in the kitchen? Nikki, there's no freaking way the low IQ activists, I mean reporters, outsmarted anyone in the Trump administration, let alone Susie Wiles. They're as retarded as Waltz. Exactly. They don't know anything. Marco Blankenship. I'll not donate to Win Red. All my donations have gone straight to DJT. Thank you very much. McCosby, only mama affects her life. Melvin Blodgett, love you, Barry. Love her Perry Limbaugh, Cunningham, bring common sense, smarts on loan from God. MAGA, stay the course. Yeah, somebody asked me what was a faggot. And if you had watched my interview with Alpha Warrior, because I didn't know what it was, it's a fake MAGA. So let's stay the course here. Fakowski, fourth Sunday of Advent is coming. Stephen Anderson, Harmeet Dillon as AG, true fighter for America. Indeed she is. Vielka, Dems are trying to bring back the Jabademic for chaos. Judy Branch, thank you, Barry. God bless. Thank you, Judy. Al Phelps, thank you. Mariah, a beautiful event and celebration. Thank you for sharing this with us. It was weird. While that was going on, I was looking at other stations to see if people were covering it. Nope. RSBN had it. But when I looked around, none of the networks had it. It just completely ignored it. See, that's where you guys have to come in. Hold on, let me talk about that. And Rot Dog, Maduro regime declared FTO, not Venezuela's. Well, yeah, not the country. He doesn't want to hurt those people. But that's why it's so important for you guys to talk. for you guys to get the message out because they're trying not to let people know exactly what is happening. There's a late super chat. Where's this? Hold on. The Clintons got their subpoenas postponed. I almost cried. They're indeed the untouchable hierarchies of the one world government. No, she's supposedly in the hospital. She doesn't feel good. I've talked to some people today. Watch what happens come January. One of them may not be here anymore. Who knows? If they're going to need all of the sympathy they possibly can gin up. All right, so you guys go ahead and get some sleep and get ready for tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be a wham banger. And we're going to be here late. He's not even scheduled to come out until 9 p.m., which with President Trump might be 9:45. So get your sleep, get ready, get your popcorn. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, see what kind of news is coming on. But 9 o'clock, we got a big speech with President Trump. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in a fields where they lay, keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east, beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight. stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their heavenly music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lowly place, they bend on hovering wing, and ever o'er its babble sounds the blessed angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on by prophets seen of old, when with the ever-circling years shall come the time foretold, when man new heaven and earth shall own the Prince heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Lay down his sweet head. The stars in the sky looked down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. Thee to stay close by me for